Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, yeah, I'm just a normal person, nothing special, nothing extraordinary, just me? Then somehow people keep staring at you. They remember things you said 3 years ago. They act weird around you. Some get nervous, some become extra friendly, some suddenly forget how to use basic words. And you're standing there like, what is happening? Well, today we're talking about 6 unusual signs that you might be a lot more attractive than you think. And here's the funny part. Most attractive people don't even realize it. Seriously. Because when you've been yourself your entire life, you don't notice the effect you have on other people. It's like having a really nice voice. You don't hear it the way everyone else does. You just think it's normal. Now, before we jump in, I want you to do something. As we go through these signs, count how many apply to you. And be honest. Don't suddenly become the CEO of confidence, but don't become the president of self-doubt either. Deal? Good. Let's begin. Sign number 1. People stare at you, then look away fast. You know this one. You're walking into a room, maybe a coffee shop, maybe work, maybe the grocery store. You look up, and somebody is already looking at you. The second your eyes meet, boom! They look away like they just got caught stealing government secrets. Now here's what's funny. Most people think this means something is wrong. You start checking yourself. Do I have toothpaste on my face? Is my shirt inside out? Did a bird somehow attack me and nobody told me? Meanwhile, nothing is wrong. People often stare at things they find interesting, and attraction creates curiosity. Psychologically speaking, humans naturally pay attention to what catches their interest, and attraction isn't only physical. Sometimes it's energy, sometimes it's confidence, sometimes it's the way you carry yourself, sometimes it's simply your presence. And here's where it gets hilarious. Some people become terrible actors when they're attracted. They'll stare for 10 seconds, then when you notice them, suddenly they're studying the ceiling, the floor, a random wall, an invisible mosquito, anything except you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever caught someone staring at you and then acting like they were investigating the architecture of the building? Because we've all seen it. And if you've experienced this often, that might be sign number 1. You have an effect on people that you're not even aware of. Now let's move to the next one because this one gets even funnier. Sign number 2. People remember weird little things about you. This one is sneaky. You meet someone once, one conversation, 5 minutes, maybe 10. Then, months later, they say something like, "Oh yeah, your favorite snack is spicy chips." And you're standing there completely confused. How do you know that? Because honestly, you barely remember telling them. Here's something interesting. When people are attracted to someone, they pay more attention. Their brain becomes a storage device, not always intentionally. It just happens. Meanwhile, you forget what you had for breakfast, but somehow they remember a random story you told 6 months ago about getting lost in a parking lot. It's wild, and sometimes it's almost scary. Not scary, just, should I be impressed or concerned? Scary. Imagine meeting somebody once. Then 6 months later they say, "How's your cousin's dog doing?" What? The dog? You forgot about the dog. Yet they remember. Why? Because people naturally remember details about things that matter to them, and attraction makes people pay attention. This doesn't mean every person who remembers something likes you. Let's not start planning weddings. But when it happens consistently, it's often a clue. Your presence sticks. You stay in people's minds longer than you think. And that's a powerful kind of attractiveness, not the flashy kind, the memorable kind, the kind that lingers, the kind that makes people remember your laugh, your stories, your energy. And honestly, that's usually much stronger than just good looks, because looks grab attention, presence keeps attention. Now the next sign. Oh, this one is absolutely hilarious, because it happens every single day, and people don't even realize they're doing it. Now let's talk about sign number 3. And trust me, if this happens to you often, you are probably making people way more nervous than you realize. Sign number 3. People act a little weird around you. Not normal weird, cute weird, funny weird, human weird. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're having a perfectly normal conversation. Everything is going smoothly. Then suddenly the other person drops their phone, forgets what they were saying, trips over absolutely nothing, or starts talking so fast that even they don't know where the sentence is going. It's like their brain opened 20 tabs at the same time, and none of them are loading. Now, before anybody gets excited. No, not every awkward person is attracted to you. Some people are just awkward. We love them. We support them. We are them. But attraction has a funny way of making people lose their natural rhythm. Think about it. Have you ever practiced an entire conversation in your head, only to meet the person and say something completely different? Of course you have. We all have. You walk in feeling confident. Then suddenly your brain says, "Good luck, you're on your own," and disappears. That's what attraction does. Carl Jung often spoke about the unconscious parts of ourselves, the parts that react before logic gets involved, and attraction often lives there, below the surface, before words, before explanations. That's why people sometimes act differently around someone they find attractive. They become extra energetic, extra quiet, extra funny, or accidentally become the world's worst communicator. Have you ever noticed somebody laughing way too hard at your joke? A joke that wasn't even that funny. You say, "The weather is nice," and they're like, "Ha ha 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 ha, you're hilarious." Okay, relax. It wasn't comedy night, but attraction has a way of making people want to connect. And sometimes that comes out in funny ways. So if people regularly seem a little flustered around you, you might be seeing sign number 3. And honestly, it's one of the most adorable signs on this list. Now let's move to sign number 4, because this one catches almost everybody by surprise. Sign number 4. People keep coming back to talk to you. This one is huge, and most people completely miss it, because they're looking for obvious signs. They're looking for compliments, attention, big dramatic moments. Meanwhile, the real clue is consistency. Think about this. Who keeps finding reasons to talk to you? Who keeps showing up? Who keeps starting conversations? Who keeps sending that random message? Who somehow appears every time you're around? And no, we're not talking about that one friend who borrows money and disappears. Different category. We're talking about people who genuinely enjoy your presence. The people who seem to gravitate toward you. Not because they need something. Not because they have to. Because they want to. And here's the funny thing. They often invent reasons. Completely unnecessary reasons. You've seen this happen. Someone walks over and says, "Hey." You say, "Hey." Then they stand there. That's it. That's the conversation. No purpose, no mission, no emergency, just vibes. They're not there for information. They're there because they enjoy being around you. Humans naturally move toward people who make them feel good, people who create comfort, people who create curiosity, people who create positive emotions. And attraction isn't always loud. Sometimes attraction simply says, "I like being near this person." That's it. Simple, powerful, real, and honestly, one of the strongest forms of attraction, because looks may get someone's attention, but energy keeps bringing them back. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed someone finding 10 different excuses just to continue talking to you? They ask one question, then another, then another. Then suddenly you're discussing childhood snacks at 10 p.m. How did we get here? Nobody knows. But somehow the conversation keeps going. That's not an accident. People invest time where they feel drawn, and if people consistently make time for you, that says a lot. Now don't leave yet, because the next sign might be the most misunderstood sign on this entire list. Most people actually think it's a bad thing. But it can secretly be one of the strongest indicators of attraction, and once you see it, you'll never look at it the same way again. All right, we've reached the final two signs, and honestly, these might be the most surprising ones on the entire list, because most people completely misunderstand them. Let's jump in. Sign number 5. Some people randomly compete with you now. This one sounds strange, but stay with me. Have you ever met someone who turns everything into a competition? You say, "I walked 2 miles today." They say, "Oh yeah, I walked 5. You say, "I had a busy week." They say, "Busy? I slept 3 hours all week." You say, "I drank a glass of water." They say, "Well, I drank 2. Okay, champion, congratulations. Here's your trophy. What's funny is that sometimes people become competitive around someone they secretly admire. Not because they dislike them, because they notice them. There is a difference. When somebody stands out, people naturally compare themselves. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, and attraction can make this even stronger. A person may think, "Wow, they're confident. Wow, people seem to like them. Wow, they have great energy." And without realizing it, they start trying to prove themselves. Now, obviously, not every competitive person is attracted to you. Some people simply love competition. If breathing were an Olympic sport, they'd enter immediately. But if you've noticed people trying extra hard to impress you, trying to show off, trying to prove themselves, it may be because your presence has more impact than you realize. The funny part? You might not even be competing. You're just existing. Meanwhile, they're acting like they're in the championship finals, and you're sitting there confused. "Sir, I was just ordering a sandwich." Now let's get to the final sign, and in many ways, this might be the strongest sign of all. Sign number 6. People open up to you very quickly. This one is powerful, and it has very little to do with looks. In fact, many of the most attractive people have this quality. People feel safe around them, comfortable around them, understood around them. And something amazing happens. Conversations go deeper, fast. You ask someone a simple question. 5 minutes later, they're telling you their life story. You didn't ask for the extended edition, but somehow you got it. And honestly, it's kind of beautiful, because attraction isn't just about someone looking at you and saying, "Wow." Sometimes attraction is emotional, sometimes it's energetic, sometimes it's the feeling that says, "I can be myself around this person." That's rare, very rare. Think about it. Most people spend a lot of time protecting themselves, hiding parts of themselves, wearing masks, being careful. But when someone feels genuinely comfortable around you, those walls start coming down. And according to many psychological insights connected to Carl Jung's work, authenticity has a magnetic effect. People are drawn toward people who feel real, not perfect, real. That's why some people walk into a room and instantly capture attention, not because they're trying, not because they're showing off, because they're comfortable being themselves. And authenticity is attractive. Always has been, always will be. Now, before we finish, I want to tell you something important. The biggest mistake people make is assuming attractiveness is only about appearance. It isn't, not even close. Some of the most attractive people in the world don't realize they're attractive, because attraction is bigger than looks. It's the way you make people feel. It's your energy, your presence, your confidence, your sense of humor, your kindness, your authenticity, your ability to make a room feel lighter when you enter it. That's the kind of attractiveness people remember, the kind that stays with them long after you've left. So if you've spent years believing you're just ordinary, maybe it's time to question that story. Maybe people see something in you that you've never fully seen in yourself. Maybe your smile affects people more than you know. Maybe your energy leaves a stronger impression than you realize. Maybe your presence is more powerful than you think. And maybe, just maybe, you've been underestimating yourself this entire time. Now I want to hear from you. Which sign hit you the hardest? Was it the staring, the nervous behavior, the random competitions, the deep conversations, or maybe something else entirely? Drop your answer in the comments, and be honest. Let's have some fun with this. Also tell me, have you ever discovered someone liked you years later and thought, wait, that's what all that weird behavior meant? Because those stories are always hilarious. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and join us for more fascinating insights inspired by Carl Jung, human psychology, attraction, confidence, and the hidden things that make people unforgettable. Until next time. Remember this, you don't need to become someone else to be attractive. The most magnetic version of you is usually the version that's already there. See you in the next video.